Hi, my name is Sunny Lane, and I am happy to be sharing this Sunday reset with you, coming from the Momentaries Tower Bar. Today, we're going to talk about the power of consciousness and how you can begin to leverage this power to create in your own lives. The power of consciousness is as a tangible place. Consciousness is a space of pure awareness that exists not only inside each of us, but it exists in the universe. Today, more contemporary scientific thought is beginning to validate the science of consciousness as an actual field, a field of existence that, again, exists in our environment, but more importantly, for today's purposes of this talk, it exists inside each one of us. And so what we want to do is explore what that looks like for you. How does that apply in your everyday experience? And the mechanism that we use to access consciousness is meditation. So we will talk for a little bit here, get into a discussion about accessing your personal power through consciousness, and then we'll go into a meditation where we will access different techniques and hopefully have an experience that you can then reference as it relates to your state of consciousness. The field of consciousness has become an objective science. As science moves into the world of quantum mechanics, unified field theory, the state of consciousness has become or is becoming a validated field of existence. And what the ancient teachings and ancient Vedas have been trying to share with us are techniques and tools to access this very space. Ancient teachings might have called it enlightenment, self-actualization, this space where you hold not only all of your own personal power, but all of your pure potentiality exists in this space. So what used to be called enlightenment, today we could really reframe this and look at it as optimal brain functioning. This is a true state, a true field of existence that you can begin to bring into your daily experience. Again, the easiest mechanism for this is meditation. But oftentimes, people will practice or they'll try meditation, and it just is not a comfortable experience. You sit, you meditate, you try to meditate, you have 1,000 thoughts, and you think, I can't do this. This is not for me. I'm going to go hammer out some more miles on the treadmill, which that's great. You have to find what works for you. But I really encourage you to begin to look at meditation just as you look at any other form of self-care. You have to go out and try different things that work for you. What work for some may not work for another. And meditation has many different opportunities to access this space. There are many different styles. And so what we want to frame up for you today is that there are 3 main styles, and within each of those styles, there are different techniques. And so if you try meditation and you feel like it didn't work for you, take a look at the style that you use. So let's frame this in the context of yoga. In yoga, we have Ashtanga, we have Iyengar, we have Vinyasa, and different yoga styles attract different people for their own energetic system and what works best for them. Meditation is the same. There are 3 main styles that research has now begun to uncover and begin to link to this objective scientific theory and thought that this space that we are accessing when we meditate is a true field of existence. And so these 3 types that today have been validated and there is a lot of research around are, the first one is open monitoring. So in open monitoring meditation, this is going to be your presence awareness, your mindfulness, where you are just holding in each moment your awareness of what is going on. Maybe it is noticing some actual activity and observing it. Maybe it is noticing what thoughts come up and you really investigate those thoughts. This is open monitoring as a style of meditation. The second style is focused attention. Focused attention is more of a concentration practice where you may be completely guided through the entire meditation and your attention is directed to follow a certain sequence or visualizations. So this second style, focused attention, is a technique that is very beneficial. The open monitoring is very beneficial. They will all begin to take you into this state of pure consciousness. However, they may keep you at the surface level of the mind because we're activating certain brain patterns, brainwave patterns that can be and that show up on your EEG. If you happen to be a part of a research study, you can practice any of these meditation styles and notice very unique brain signatures. The third style is automatic self-transcending. And what this does, where the other 2 styles keep the activity of the brain on the surface level through the theta and gamma brain waves, self-transcending takes a vertical dive in the brain, and you're going to activate alpha 1 brain waves. These are very unique brain signatures. Today, again, we can validate through the use of machinery, EEG, fMRI, MEG, that are going to analyze and measure the brain activity. Alpha 1 brain waves, when they come online, they're very unique because not only do they come online in your prefrontal cortex, they are also activating coherently throughout all regions of the brain. It's my belief that all 3 styles can access this very unique place. The experience of consciousness is unique to you. It is your unique, specific expression of awareness that directs your access to consciousness and the experience that you have when you're there. Meditation is simply a mechanism to take you there. It is a tool, and today we're so fortunate to be in this time where there's so many different meditation tools and apps and teachers that can help you define what this looks like for you. And then it is your benefits that you realize in your life that will keep you moving toward a regular meditation practice. So what are those experiences when you find that space of consciousness? Pure consciousness is pure stillness, and it is pure awareness. There's no activity of the mind. There's no thought. There's no visual images, no emotions. It is a space of stillness, yet alertness. I am confident that every person watching this has experienced this state of pure consciousness. As society, or as human beings, we are outwardly focused into the material world, but it is this inner state that exists in every single person, and it is the same. It is the same not only in every single person, but it is that same field of consciousness that science is now beginning to validate. So that's where our personal power really begins to become a lot of fun. These fleeting moments of pure awareness, they may have shown up for you in your aha moments, where you've kind of, whether you're washing dishes or you're exercising or you're just having a moment of contemplation. But it's a very easy feeling. It just comes. And interestingly, when measured by an EEG, if you have an aha moment, it is those alpha 1 brainwaves that come online. So it is a real field that we are accessing when we access pure consciousness. It also occurs just as you're falling asleep. So just before you jump into that dream state, and as you're leaving the active level of the mind, there is a very fleeting moment of pure awareness. And a lot of times you don't know that you're having it. Even when we meditate, it's not typically a space that you get into and you feel it. You feel it, but you're not thinking. So you're not having thought. If you begin to think, oh, I think I'm there, then you're not. But you may have just come out of it. It is that deeper move inward that begins to create this access to the deeper space. And so today we're going to practice how to find that space, and then hopefully you'll have your experience. Again, the direct experience when you have access pure consciousness is pure stillness, pure silence. You don't really know where your nose is or your toes are, but you're aware. You have awareness. And so how does that differ from the waking state? As you move toward pure consciousness, you are moving toward the fourth state of consciousness. In the Vedic teachings, there are 7 states of higher consciousness. The first 3 are automatic and natural. There are waking, sleeping, and dreaming states. The fourth state of consciousness is pure awareness, pure consciousness. There are 5, 6, and 7 after that, but today we're just going to talk about the first 4 states of consciousness. The first state is waking. So automatic naturally occurs the waking state. In our waking state, we are self-aware and we are having thoughts. When we go into the dream state, we are not aware, but we are having thoughts in the form of dreams. But again, that self-awareness is not occurring. In deep sleep, we are not aware and we are not having thoughts. We are in that deep recovery, rest mode for the body. And so with that, we don't have awareness and we don't have dreams or thoughts. The fourth state is the state of pure consciousness, where we have awareness, we have self-awareness, and we do not have thought. So you can see there's 4 distinct markers as you move in and out of these states. We happen into 1, 2, and 3 naturally just by being here. Pure consciousness, again, I believe every person has had these experiences, but we have been kind of conditioned outward instead of inward. So we really don't know what we're experiencing. Pure consciousness, again, is pure stillness, awareness, but no thought. That is our space of pure personal power, of pure potentiality. It is the state where everything that you have decided in your life or experienced that you know that you want out of life exists. And not only your desires, but also the means to get there. So as we stay focused in this outward focus on life, where we're caught up in the materialistic realm, we have to really be in charge, right? We have to keep our lists, and we have to really put a lot of effort into attaining the things that we want in life. We are a highly producing society, and with that comes a lot of internal dialogue that may not be helpful, a lot of stress, a lot of chronic conditions, a lot of dis-ease comes from this state of just constant, pretty much hammering ourselves. And this space of pure consciousness, where pure potentiality exists, already has everything that you need to accomplish what you want. It is the resistance that we are able to let go of when we access this space. When you come out, are you going to make your lists? Yes. You're going to still continue to live and exist in the world, but you're going to access a space that the Vedas called spontaneous right action. So today or in our modern terms, we call these coincidences. I'm thinking about somebody and they call. There's a project that I want to work on, and all of a sudden I run into somebody on the street that can help me with it. These coincidences are part of this field of consciousness that drives our actions and our activities. When you spend time in this field of pure consciousness, you are removing resistance to the directions that your life can take. When you stay outwardly focused, it is a job, it is a task, it has a point from A to B, and you arrange your activities to move yourself from A to B. When you release the reins, access pure consciousness, the opportunities open up broader and in ways that you are not expecting, because you're not trying to control, you're not trying to force the move from A to B. All of a sudden you're at A, and then B, C, D, E, F, and G show up, so that you have just this kind of wellspring of inspired thought that first start with you, and then inspired actions that lead to more productive results and more moving towards those things in life that you truly want. And so the great thing about meditation is that it is your own experience with this. This is a practice that you take in, you try it, and then you see what's showing up in your life. And that determines your decision on whether meditation becomes a part of your own self-care routine. And the thing that I do encourage you to do is, if you've tried a meditation style and it didn't work, go back and take a look and see if you can find out which style it was. Was it focused attention? And then try a different style. Try the open monitoring or transcending. Try a few different styles, because I believe that there is a way for you to access this space of personal power that is within you. And then you will bring that out with you into your life, and you will have the experiences that will determine how much you want to dedicate to the practice of meditation. Meditation, at least right now, is the number one way to access this space. And another thing I want you to keep in mind is that it should be easy. This space exists in you already. It is there. It is there inside every single person. And it is a space of ease. It is where all ease exists. And so it should be easy for you to find it and to return to it again and again. In future talks, we can talk about higher states of consciousness and what begins to happen as you cultivate that space and you move it into the fifth state, sixth and seventh state. When you practice meditation, you are accessing the space of pure consciousness, and you are beginning to take that field of consciousness into your, not only into your awareness, but into your experience. So your physiology responds when you are in this field. You turn on your parasympathetic nervous system, which initiates calmness and ease, removes resistance, and you kind of deactivate or at least lessen your sympathetic nervous system, which is your fight or flight, freeze mode of operation that many of us stay in. And when the physiology begins to bring this parasympathetic nervous system online, what begins to happen as you return to meditation again and again, you begin to saturate your physiology with consciousness, and that in turn begins to purify your nervous system, which then results in many of the benefits of meditation that you may already be familiar with: reduced stress, improved sleep, reduced blood pressure, reduced heart disease, many different physiological benefits. And so being aware that you're spending your time very productively whenever you take time to meditate. Not only are you purifying your nervous system, but you are also providing deep rest to your body. 30 minutes of meditation physiologically equals 2 hours of sleep. So for those out there who are inclined to measure your time and make sure you're spending your time wisely, this is a great way to recap some of those lost hours of sleep if you're running on a deficit. So what happens when you fall asleep during meditation? That's okay. It is okay to have thoughts. It is okay to fall asleep. That is all part of the body's physiological response to this moving to this field of deep rest. And so as we move into today's meditation, I want you to just keep a few things in mind. You will have thought. You may fall asleep. You may slip into that space of pure consciousness, but it's okay if you don't. And I'm going to give you a few different tools as we move into the practice. So just keep mindful of the instructions and go into this with ease and comfort, and let's just see what kind of experience you can have. And then after today, if you have any questions, I am happy to get together with any of you. My Instagram is the Sunny Soul NWA, and so if you have any questions or if you want to share any of the experience that you have, please reach out to me. So let's settle in and begin to get ready for today's practice. I'm going to use, I talked about those different styles, I'm going to use a few different ones. And so just let yourself have whatever experience you're going to have. I want to introduce this one thing before we start, though. This is called a focused attention micro practice. And so with this, I want to demonstrate how having thoughts is a very natural, and it's actually a productive part of your meditation. So think of being at the gym and you're doing your reps. And you lift the weight up and you squeeze at the top and you take it nice and slow down. That completes one full rep. And you do several of those. You do several sets of those because you know that this is a cumulative practice that is going to build strength. Meditation is the same. It is a cumulative practice that builds these neural pathways in your brain so that you can begin to access pure consciousness more easily and eventually outside of meditation. So what is a rep in meditation? Let's practice it here together. Just take a moment and focus on your breath. And at some point, you have a thought. You've noticed that you've had a thought. You bring yourself back. You reorient yourself, and you come back to your breath. And you do it again. Breath, thought, notice I had a thought, reorient myself, come back to the breath. That cycle is your rep in meditation. Breath, or in today's meditation, we'll actually introduce a mantra. Mantra, notice the distraction, reorient yourself, come back to the mantra. And we do that. That is one rep. So as you practice today, don't worry that you've had a thought. The missing piece there is that you recognize, oh, wow, I just disappeared into my thoughts for however long. That's when you notice that you had the thought, you reorient yourself, and you come back into the practice. So that rep is a very productive piece of your meditation. So let's settle in, find a comfortable place. You can be sitting on your meditation cushion. You can also be sitting in a chair. You can be sitting in your car. You can be just getting up and you're still in your bed, and tuck a couple of pillows back behind you so that you're sitting upright, but you don't even have to get out of bed. Let's just be comfortable. And as we settle in here, just begin to be aware of your body's natural breathing rhythm. Your body breathes. Throughout the day, you can take moments of awareness and try to take a deep breath or regulate your breath, but primarily your body breathes without any extra conditions needed from you. Just watch your body's natural rhythm and watch how it changes. You may notice that your inhales deepen, your exhales extend, or you may notice that you're kind of breathing very shallow, small, short little breaths. Just seeing what your body is doing. And now let's introduce an exercise where you're going to inhale for a count of 4 and then exhale for a count of 6. So let's do that together. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 6. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 6. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 6. And go ahead and do that a couple of more times on your own. And let's come back together here. I'm going to introduce 4 questions. 4 soul questions. The first question is, who am I? And just let anything come to mind. It can be a title, it can be an emotion. Just 1 or 2 things, first things that pop into your mind. And second question, what do I want? Again, nice and easy. Doesn't have to be everything that you want in the world, but 1 or 2 things. Maybe they're emotions instead of things. What do I want? Third question, what is my purpose? Again, it doesn't have to be heavy. Whatever comes to mind. Just think of 1 word. And fourth question, what am I grateful for? What can I appreciate in this moment? Just in this one moment, what can I appreciate right now? And now begin to think silently to yourself, I am, and then your first and your last name. Just repeat that softly and easily, silently. And now release your last name and begin just thinking, I am, and your first name. And now release your first name and just think the words, I am. And now release those words and introduce the vibration of those words. Ahum. Ahum. And now release the vibration. And let's gently introduce the mantra. I'll repeat it several times. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. Let's repeat it silently and easily. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. And let your attention stay with the mantra, but don't get too worried about pronunciation. It's okay if it changes. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. Use the mantra to reorient yourself if you become distracted. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Brahmasmi. We'll continue in silence, and I'll cue us when it's time to begin, to end. Go ahead and release the mantra. Just hold with your eyes still shut. Resting in existence. Resting in awareness. Resting in being. Existence, awareness, being, Sat Chidananda. We'll introduce our Sankalpa, our intentions. Joyful, energetic body. Loving, compassionate heart. Reflective, alert mind. Lightness of being. And slowly now bring your awareness back to your breath. And you can begin to move your body. If you want to rotate your head, move your shoulders around, bringing yourself back into your physical body. And then when you're ready, just open the eyes just enough to see a little bit of light and close the eyes again. If you feel like you need to, you can move the body a little more. We'll do that. Open the eyes again just a little and close them. And this time let's bring in a little more movement. If you want to bring the arms out and take a big inhale up as you slowly open the eyes and take your gaze up, you can bring your arms up. And we'll come right back here. So the practice of meditation is, hopefully for you, that was an experience of moving vertically in the mind. That vertical motion toward the experience of pure consciousness, this field of self-interaction. We know that it is a field of self-interaction because consciousness has an innate desire to know itself. And when we leverage that technology that exists inside our body, we are uncovering what that looks like for us, and we are experiencing it directly. And the motion inward is the movement toward the experience, and then the outward motion is now you take this experience with you into your daily activities. And hopefully you'll begin to see the results of it. So again, my name is Sunny Lane. I would love to work with anybody who has any questions about meditation, cultivating your own practice. I again encourage you to try many different styles. My own journey included many different styles. I've practiced Vipassana, Transcendental Meditation, Mindfulness, Eckhart Tolle's Teacher of Presence certification. Google, search inside yourself. Google has their own mindfulness-based practice. And most recently, I completed Deepak Chopra's Primordial Sound instructor course. And so next month, I will begin offering sessions to work with individuals or groups where everyone will receive their own mantra, their own personal mantra. It includes also 7 or so hours of content, which is a lot of what we talked about today. We just go deeper, and hopefully it is very much a dialogue so that you can begin to bring that into your daily experience. We do it over about a 3-day period, so can process it into your life and then come back and we'll talk with the group and have more interaction and questions about your experiences. Thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you taking the time to take care of yourself and letting me kind of join you in that. Thanks to the Momentary for giving us this wonderful reset that we get to look forward to on Sundays, and also this beautiful space here in the Tower Bar. Have a wonderful rest of your day.